One kick of the ball by Didier Drogba. Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea history. Champions of Europe at last.
All right. Here we go back again on the other side of the coin. And look who we have here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one and only. I am so honored to have this guy. Like, this guy has pictures with almost everyone out there, all the top footballers, not just even footballers. There's some proper movie stars as well that he's got pictures with. He's very well known for that. But more than anything, honestly, he's such a humble guy and a very, very respectful guy. Lately, he's been doing a lot of bantering against Man United, which has been fun. I've been joining in on that, and that's been great. So first of all, Frank Khalid. I know sometimes, I accidentally call you Frank Lampard in subconsciously. But Frank Khalid, how you doing, my man?
I'm well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me onto your show. Looking forward to it.
Brilliant. So glad to have you, man. Amir, obviously my anchor man, generally have Kunal as well. Kunal's on here, but Amir's here. Amir, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm, honored actually to be alongside someone like Frank Khalid. I only know him through his Twitter profile, but actually, seeing him face to face, it's surreal.
Brilliant. We're going to try our best to not call him Frank Lampard. I'm pretty sure I'm going to call him Frank Lampard one of these times throughout this recording. But Frank, let's get straight into it because there's quite a few things that we want to talk about. And, obviously you're a busy man and we want to get as much as possible we can so that our audiences out there, your viewers, my viewers, all our followers can get a good time out of this. So first of all, Frank, I don't want to dwell too much on the FA Cup match. I think we've all talked about the FA Cup match. I think I want to talk about more bigger picture here. In recent times, there's been a lot of conversation about Tomori and how he's probably going to leave perhaps on a loan or a permanent. What I want to ask you, first of all, your thoughts about how recently Tomori, I suppose I wouldn't call it treatment, but I mean, not even be the number 3 centre-back. He's literally the number 5 centre-back for us off the back of Zuma, Thiago Silva, Christensen, Rudiger. So he's really just at the bottom. Your thoughts, first of all, about Tomori as a player. And then secondly, I suppose you happy at the moment that he probably does need to go on a loan?
Okay. Start off with Tomori as a player. I mean, I really like him. I'll be honest with you. Last season, we did really well. We had that purple patch when we won 7 games in a row. And he was, his partnership with Zuma was so crucial for us. And I thought he'd done really well last season. I think at the end of the season, then he sort of got dropped. And then I think Rudiger sort of came into it. And I'm a big fan of Tomori. And I just feel he's been hard done by a little bit by Lampard. I don't know what the reasons are. And there was rumours of him going to West Ham, wasn't there? Beginning of the season.
Yeah, before this season. Yeah,
and he sort of pulled out last minute. I'm not sure whether that sort of upset the men at the top over there at Chelsea. It could have done, but he just hasn't had a look in. Even yesterday's game, you would have thought he would have started, wouldn't you? You would have thought he would have rested Zuma. Christensen obviously was injured, and you just would have started him. I would have started him, and just bring him on for the last few minutes. I thought was a bit harsh, But yeah, hopefully, I hope we don't sell him. Hopefully, he'll go out on loan and get some valuable experience. Rumours again of him going to Leeds, which I think would be ideal. They got a good manager. I think he'll look after him, make sure he gets the best experience, and perhaps that is the answer to get a bit of experience. But yeah, I wouldn't sell him, and I think he's a really good player, one for the future.
No, for sure. I really like. I know you're sort of surprised that he didn't start. For me, honestly, I just had a feeling that with all the rumors that he was going to leave on loan, I kind of expected that he was going to start, because if we have the rumors that he was going to go on a loan, obviously you're not going to start someone just in case they get injured, then that whole loan situation sort of gets destroyed. So I was very surprised that he still came on 10 minutes to go. I was a bit baffled by that, if you're not going to play him at all, then why give him 10 minutes? Like, what was that all about? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's interesting that throughout this season that he's had no look in, I think he only had that one game against Barnsley. And I think he came on once Christensen got that red card against Liverpool. But since then, he's pretty much played nothing for us, which is pretty sad. As you said, a bit unfairly treated by Frank Lampard on this. But nonetheless, hopefully he does get that loan move and goes to Leeds, as you said, and get, under Bielsa. I think that should be very, very good. You do say that hopefully he doesn't go on a permanent, but would you be tempted if Leeds were to play? There's been some rumours that somewhere around £20 million.
I suppose in the day, if they were to get a good offer, then they'll have to look at it, but they need a good replacement. The only thing I would say is we've done this in the past. We've taken money and regretted it later. I mean, you just have to look at the signings of De Bruyne and Salah.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Those hurt.
At the time, we thought we got a bit of money and we're happy with it. No, I think we should keep hold of him. But yeah, I suppose if an offer was to come in the region of 20 million, it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea do take it. There's also, Chelsea have been linked to a few centre halves, haven't they? The plan is to get a bit of money and then maybe look at someone else. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Thiago Silva is there. I don't think he's a long-term plan. So I still think that we are looking for centre-backs, the ideal centre-back for Chelsea. So I don't know. Your answer to your question, yes, I suppose if a bid was to come in for 20 odd million pounds, I think I won't be surprised if they take it. I'd rather they not. I'd rather they keep hold of him, but it wouldn't surprise me.
No, fair point. Amir, off to you, my man.
Yep. Going from Tomori to another academy graduate, actually, my question is on Billy Gilmour. I think he had an excellent game against Morecambe. I think, he held his ground, with some in the 4-3-3, the number 6 has to be someone that holds his ground, that controls the play from deep. And I think Gilmour did that excellently. He never committed too forward. He was always back sort of in between centre backs, picking up passes and moving the ball around. And how important do you think, that game was for him? Because off the back of the injury, I don't think he's played much. I think he played the Krasnodar game, but apart from that, he hasn't been included in the squad much. So how much of an impact do you think he had against Morecambe? And, just to quickly follow up on that, do you think he deserves to start against Fulham, especially because our midfield in the previous game looked so overrun against Manchester City?
Firstly, I'm a big fan of Billy Gilmour. I thought when he came in last season in the Liverpool FA Cup game, he played really well. And he did particularly well before we went into lockdown. And then obviously we started again and then he got injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This season, he hasn't had the opportunities. And I felt when the team was winning, I could understand why he wasn't getting the opportunity, because we were on a winning run and it's hard to drop players when they're winning. But the thing is, we've had a bad run for the last 6-7 games. We've had a bad run. And I just feel that he's not really had enough minutes, not enough opportunity to start games, and I hope he does start against Fulham, because like you said, our midfield looked overrun in so many games. They looked tired, jaded. I think we should rest those players and give Billy a chance. And then the day, see how he gets on. And considering the opposition is Fulham as well, I think it's the perfect opposition for him, rather than a bigger game. So I would start him.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty great answer, I think. But at the same point, do you think that, Kante is suspended for the game, isn't he, as well? So I think that would be the perfect opportunity for him. Yep. Anyway, moving on to you, Miz. I think you've got the next question in.
Yeah, man, I agree with you guys as well in the sense that Billy Gilmour, right now we've got nothing to lose. We've been pretty poor in our midfield, and I think someone like Billy Gilmour, he's far more disciplined in the number 6, and his distribution is very, very good. Definitely better than Kante at the moment. And Kante being suspended, I think Billy Gilmour should get an opportunity against Fulham. Let's move on to the next question, Frank. This is where it gets tricky, Frank. This is where really we want to hear your answers. The fans want to hear what you have to say. One of the major issues, in your opinion, that has been the biggest one during this poor form that we've gone through pretty much the month of December and obviously the start of January against Man City. What do you think the one particular, so there must be quite a few, but if you were to sort of knuckle down to one particular, situation, like a particular issue that's been the biggest factor for us in this bad form? What would it be from your opinion?
The biggest factor, I think, is the thing that frustrates me more than anything else is, I mean, I love Frank Lampard, big fan of Frank Lampard, but I do really believe in the fact that you should play players that are in form. And he seems to be sticking with the same players that are out of form. I mean, we've seen in the last few games how Callum Hudson-Odoi has performed. You know, he's been scoring goals, he's been making goals, he's been playing well. I mean, he hasn't been playing him, and he's just sort of refusing. He seems to be sticking with the same players that have let him down. And that, I think, is not the right way of going forward. And even if you look at the striker situation with Timo Werner, I mean, I love Timo Werner. He's a great striker, but he's obviously been out of form. And yet he's still, you know, look at Olivier Giroud, for example, in the Arsenal game. He didn't even come on the pitch, and we desperately needed goals. It seems to be the same tactic, crosses into the area, high balls into the area. And, Timo Werner's not going to win that. That's not his strength not his strength, is it? So, I mean, a bit frustrated with the way Lampard has done things. He's not dropped players when he should have dropped players, and he's not playing players when he should be playing players. And that's down to the manager, really, isn't it? And
absolutely, I have to agree.
Yeah, it is basically playing players out of form rather than playing players that are in form. And that's something I think Lampard needs to understand that, I mean, you can rest players. It is going to be a very tiring season. It's going to be we have quite a lot of games coming up, and he needs to rest players in the right games and play players. For example, this Fulham game, I'm not saying Fulham are going to be an easy opposition, but it's a perfect game for someone like Billy Gilmour to come in and Callum Hudson-Odoi, and maybe rest Timo Werner, maybe play someone else up front, give an opportunity. Tammy hasn't done a lot wrong as well. I mean, I just feel sorry for Tammy as well. And it is down to the manager at the end of the day. And hopefully it's down to inexperience rather than anything else. And hopefully we'll get better. We've got the win yesterday. Hopefully the confidence will come back. I was particularly pleased with Kai Havertz yesterday as well. He's been badly out of ball. It looks like he's coming back into it as well. So, it's all about playing players in form for me.
No, 100% agree with you. I think you're probably right. I'd probably say this has been one of the major, there's been other issues as well, but this one, probably one of the major ones that you said, that playing players in their right positions. Timo Werner has played predominantly on the left when we know that he's not a winger. Then we've seen, Kai Havertz playing in the number 8 when perhaps number 10 is probably the better position for him. And as you said, players that are out of form. Timo Werner was out of form. Why continue playing him? A few other players have been out of form. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been in form, so why not start him? Sometimes he's not even in the squad, which is crazy. But hopefully, as you said, Frank, that this is down to inexperience as opposed to being stubborn or having favourites, I suppose. So hopefully that does change around. Amir, my man, it's off to you for the next question.
So the next question that I've got here is actually sort of connected to the previous question, and it goes like this. The question is, what is the one key player who can change our form around? Now, I think that a lot of fans, especially on Twitter, think that this is Hakim Ziyech, right? Because when we were missing Hakim Ziyech, I think that's when everyone suddenly, blamed the losing run on him. I mean, on his absence, rather, saying that, once he's back, he's going to find those key passes. But then even with him in the squad, we lost pretty badly against City, right? I mean, I know the scoreline only says 3-1, but if we watched the game, we could see that it could have been a lot worse. And I think we were completely overrun in that game. So what are your thoughts on that, Frank? And do you think that Ziyech is the one who's going to, help us unlock those opposition defenses and get us on a winning run once again?
I have to agree with you. I do agree with you that Hakim Ziyech is the key player. And I know you mentioned the Man City game, but Man City were in such fantastic form that day. It didn't matter who they played. I mean, they played Man United the following game, and they actually did the same to them as well. So I don't think we have to be too disheartened about that. Again, you could argue that maybe the tactics weren't right that game again for Man City. I mean, the first half, they found so much space, didn't they, on the right there. If they'd done it right, we might have been all right. And there was a few mistakes as well that led to their goals as well. So, for me, Hakim Ziyech is a very key player. We do need creativity. That was lacking in those games when he wasn't playing. every team is going to have their form, a dip of form, aren't they? We've had ours. Hopefully, we can start playing better. But we know the players that we have and what they're capable of doing. And when we were on our unbeaten 17-game run, there was the same players. So it's just a question of maybe changing things when you need to change things and resting those players and changing it around. And that's when the manager is very important in this equation. You know, he needs to be the one who needs to say, right, okay, this player's had a bad game. Let me rest him. Let me bring someone else in. And like Miz said as well, you know, don't play players out of position. You know, the minute you start doing that, then their confidence is going to suffer, isn't it? End of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just want to add as well, Hakim Ziyech, that was just the match against Man City was his first match off the back of the injury as well. We just need to remember that. Very difficult to ask a player to play well off the back of an injury. And just like you boys and what Frank said as well, for me, I think everyone in Twitter at least knows, for me, Hakim Ziyech, he's my player. He's the one. He's going to help. He's not just going to save Frank Lampard's job, which I think he will. He's the one who's going to bring us back from this particular, poor form as well. But to you, Amir.
Yeah, no, completely in agreement there. I think I remember discussing this long back as well when you and Kunal had one episode. And then I was mentioning Werner and he was mentioning Thiago Silva and you were like, Hakim Ziyech is the man.
Hakim Ziyech.
Absolutely. Well, then you mentioned Frank Lampard's job there, didn't you, Miz? And I think the next question is related to that. So, Frank, do you think Frank's job will still be there? Should he, fail to win against Fulham, Leicester and Wolves, which are our next three fixtures in the Premier League? I think for me personally, just before I hand this off to you, I think we will give him until the end of the season, regardless. But I think finishing top four should be I know that it's a topsy-turvy season, but I think finishing top four should be a minimum requirement. What do you think, Frank? And what happens should we fail to beat the next three games that I just mentioned?
No, I agree with you. I think we do need to give Frank Lampard till the end of the season. I mean, funny enough, last season, I think he overperformed, didn't he? He managed to finish in the top four, play the youngsters, did everything right. Hence why the owner gave him back in this summer with the signings. It's very hard to describe because obviously we all love Frank Lampard. He's a hero. And had it been someone else, let's say it was a different manager, someone that had no connection with Chelsea before he became manager. Would he have been given the same chance? So you have to look at it both ways. I would give Frank Lampard to the end of the season, but he would be under extreme pressure if he was to lose all three games or not get a win in those three games. Then he'd be in extreme pressure. And I look at the fans as well. I mean, there's a split with the fans, isn't there, at the moment? I mean, so many fans want him out. And which is a shame, really, But
if it's a draw, Frank, what happens? If we get a draw against Fulham, I think he's gone. I really think he's gone if it's a draw against Fulham.
I disagree, but anyway, I'll let you answer this. Sorry.
I don't know. It's difficult to say, really, because of that, because of the fact that he's a legend. And I think Roman Abramovich knows that as well. If he was to sack him, it would be a very unpopular decision. Maybe we'll get a few more extra games than anyone else. Let's just see what happens. He's thankfully got a win yesterday. Imagine if he lost yesterday, then it would have been
finished.
I don't want to. But you never know. I mean, these things do happen. I mean, I've seen it in the past with teams that go on a bad run and then suddenly turn it around, and anything can happen. So, but it's important that he needs to change his tactics and do the right thing, and like we discussed. But I'll give him to the end of the season.
Yeah, completely in agreement with you there. I think Miz has the next question for you.
Yeah, just to sort of finish that part off. Look, I also want to definitely give him till the end of the season, no doubt. I'm just a realist as well, that The Athletic had a article ready straight after the final whistle of the Man City game. Like, they literally just pressed enter as soon as the final whistle went. And it was all about how, Chelsea's looking for another manager and so on and so forth. And with our form in December, let's forget the whole Morecambe game, because at the end of the day, that should always be a win. But you look at our form in December and also that whooping that we got against Man City. I know Frank Khalid has mentioned that, Man City did the same thing to Man United as well. But I think if we drop points against Fulham, I'm really worried about Frank Lampard. I don't want to. I hope he gets the opportunity to play all the way till the end. But I'm just worried that I don't think Roman is going to appreciate more drop points after more drop points when you've invested £250 million on this particular team. Especially last season, as Frank said, he overachieved, but he still got top four. If you're not getting that this season, and Leicester game's not going to be any easier after Fulham, and the Wolves one after Wolves we've already lost, and Leicester is going to be very difficult. So if you're not getting points against Fulham, it's going to be very, very difficult. But let's get into the final parts of it, Frank Khalid. Here's where we have a little bit of fun. Frank, you've been. Let's talk about the Man United banter before we talk about all the picks and the player picks. What's going on, Frank? You've ramped it up on Man United in recent times. You're really giving it to them. I'm loving it. I honestly, because you honestly have that fan base rattled, Frank. What's going on?
I think it's a love-hate relationship. I think there's a lot of friends at Man United, and it is just banter at the end of the day. And listen, I probably give and I take just as much as well back. I mean, in a bad run,
you take a lot. You take a lot, Frank. I saw some of those comments. They're not nice.
They're not nice, but listen. If everyone can have a laugh, it's a laugh, isn't it? At the end of the day, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, there is one or two obviously people, one or two Man United fans that do give it big time back, but you just laugh it off. But at the end of the day, I think our teams are very similar, aren't they? If you look at it, Man United and Chelsea, where it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? Sport in the club, isn't it? 1 minute it's high, next minute it's low. At the moment, we're low and they're high, and things can change very, very quickly.
I'm sure it'll change around again.
It definitely will change. Believe me, it will change. Our luck will change, and their luck will change. At the moment, they're talking about winning the Premiership. I can't see it somehow, but
they're not winning nothing.
I don't know, they might, but yeah, I mean, it is just a bit of banter. Nothing personal with them. It's probably the one fan base that I actually love. I think they're quite good. A lot of them do take the joke, the banter well. And you're right, there's one or two that don't take it well, but they give it back just as much as I give it to them. That's what you have to laugh it off, and that's what you do. You don't take it seriously. Don't take it personally. I mean, people do make it personal, but I just laugh it off, and that's what you do, really. Social media, you can't take it seriously, can you? Really, let's be honest.
Nah, absolutely right. I've been jumping on some of your Man United tweets, and boy, oh boy, I get abused like never before. I'm like, oh my God, I need to stay away from Frank Khalid's tweets on Man United. These guys are ruthless. My God. But as you said, I mean, you got to take it with a pinch of salt. You got to laugh it off. I laugh it off. And I just find it hilarious that how you rattle them. Like all your Man United tweets, bang. Every single one of them, bang.
You know, it started with when we were linked to Jadon Sancho. That's when it all started.
Right. Yes, right.
Yeah, that's when I sort of mentioned that, we hopefully Chelsea will get him. And then a few Man United people started tweeting and saying there's no chance. And then it started from there, really. And it's been like that ever since, the banter. And obviously, I think they're slightly ahead at the moment in the league, and that's why they're giving it me big time. But I hope we can return the favour back soon. I'm hoping. They've got Liverpool next, I think, in the next game or so. So
they're going to lose that. Don't worry. They're going to lose that.
But yeah, it's just a bit of fun, nothing else. I'm not meant to hurt anyone or anything like that, just a bit of banter. But yeah.
It's good. It's good. Your banter is solid, man. Honestly, it's good banter. Let's talk a little bit about player picks. Frank, when did this start? Like, I've only properly started doing probably football Twitter about 2018. Sorry seasons when I started doing football Twitter properly. Obviously, I've seen you from there, and you followed me as well. In recent times, with my account that I've switched over, we've sort of started following again. But tell me a little bit more about the history of how all these pictures with the players. How did it all start? Like, when did it become like a thing, like a Frank Khalid thing?
All right. I'll tell you exactly. I mean, first thing first, we're all fans. I mean, if you went to a training ground and you saw the players there, you would take a picture as well, wouldn't you? Because then
Of course.
you're a fan.
Yeah.
So it all started basically. I think I got invited to the training ground. Actually, no. Actually, let me take it a bit more further back. Actually, let me take it back 20 years. Might even be longer than that. My season ticket used to be in what they call the Aussies. They call it the Aussies restaurant. And if you used to get there an hour before the kickoff, or 2 hours, like 3 hours before the kickoff, should I say, you'd actually be sitting with the players. They'd be having a pre-match meal. So, so there was likes of Zola, Vialli, and everyone used to be there.
Wow.
First time I went there, obviously I didn't have a camera. I thought, oh, crikey, I missed this opportunity. So for the next home game, when I got there, obviously I brought the camera with me. A friend of mine was there, and we just went and started clicking everywhere. And so that became a very happy memory. So that was from 20 years ago. And that used to be in the east stand of Stamford Bridge. But then later they moved to the west stand. So then we didn't see the players after that. And so that's the first part of it, when I used to see the players. Second part is one or two of the players, they come to my restaurant. We have a restaurant here, one of my businesses. And I got to know them very well. And they just happened to say to me, well, would you like to come to the training ground? And of course, when you go to a training ground, you know, we've all got mobile phones these days, and you start taking pictures. So that's basically the Chelsea connection there.
Yeah.
The Man United connection, I kind of one of the suppliers that supply me in my restaurant. They sponsor Man United, and they invite me every year to the UNICEF dinner, which happens around December, January time. And when you go to the dinner, the whole Man United team are just there in a room. So again, you take pictures as it's a memory. You know, end of the day, it's nice to have a memory. But then again, obviously, you use those I use that in the banter sometimes, obviously, some of the Man United players. And so, yeah, I mean, wherever it is, I've got connection here and there. And then lately, what's been happening, before the pandemic actually happened, one or two of the players kind of leave the club, or who have left Chelsea, invite me to a training ground, wherever that might be abroad. So then I was very lucky enough to go to the PSG training ground, and also to the Bayern Munich training ground just before the pandemic.
Nice.
And the Madrid one as well, sorry. Yeah, so that is my connection. And obviously you do meet people at functions, and again, you bring out the old mobile phone. The beautiful thing is, I mean, mobile phone is more of a camera, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And for me, it's just memories more than anything else. I'm not stalking anyone or anything like that. But at the same time, it's not just taking the photos with the players, it's also becoming friends with them as well at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I've been very lucky, blessed actually, to know a few of the players, and they've become very close family friends. And that is how I do it, really. There's no secret in it, but it just happens. And it's not just myself. I think if you look on social media, you'll see a lot of the haircut guys who do haircuts of the players. They have a similar sort of connection. Anyone else that does something for a player, you know, provides something or some sort of service to them, you know. A friend of mine, he does a lot of photography for a lot of the players whenever there's a family function. So, yeah, you know, everyone has different kind of connection, and that's my connection. But it does help being close to the football ground and the training ground. It would be more difficult if I was somewhere else in the world. You know, it would be difficult to see the players.
Like me, for instance, Frank, I can't do that. I wish I could do that.
Anytime you're here, let me know when you're here, and I'll take you around. Maybe meet one or two of these guys.
I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna hold that too, because I've been to London twice. Once 2009, where I didn't get to watch any Chelsea matches back then. The tickets was just too hard to get. I ended up watching a FA Cup game, which was an Arsenal FA Cup 4th round versus Burnley, which I ended up going there. And then some people took the pictures of that and made me seem like I'm an Arsenal fan. It was a whole big thing in Twitter. You know how Twitter is, Frank. They just take something and then, you know,
blow it out of context.
Brand new story. Yeah, they blow it out of context. So I didn't get to go. But in 2015, the season when Mourinho got sacked for the second time, I was actually there in December, hoping that I would see Mourinho, but by then he was already gone. He was so poor in that season, he was already sacked, and Hiddink was there. And I was in the match against Watford. I still remember Stamford Bridge. I was with my younger brother and my cousin. It was 2-2. I don't know if you remember this, Frank. I think it was 2015-16 season, Watford, Stamford Bridge, 2-2. And Oscar had the opportunity, penalty, in the last minute. I think it was in the 90th minute or 89th minute. And Oscar steps up to take the penalty. And I was videoing it. I'm like, oh my God, first time in Stamford Bridge, hopefully I see a victory. And Oscar smashed that shot over the bar, and it was still, I think it's still traveling. I'm pretty sure it's still traveling till today. But yeah, it was a crazy match. I believe we were actually down 2-0.
Yeah, I think Diego Costa scored 2 goals, didn't he, in that game?
Yes,
I remember.
yes, yeah. Header and the second goal as well, Diego Costa. Exactly right.
I do remember that game. I think the Man United player scored, the one who's there now, Agala. What's his name?
Igala. Yeah, Igala scored. Yeah.
I remember that game, yeah. It was a topsy-turvy game. I do remember the Oscar penalty. Thank you for reminding me that.
I still have that video, Frank. I've got it saved in my computer. That's the only video I have live from Stamford Bridge. But hopefully once the pandemic is over, I've already told my missus and my whole family, I'm like, I'm going to London, I'm going to go to Stamford Bridge. I want to meet, as you know, worldwide Chelsea Sadiq. I want to meet Sadiq. Obviously, I want to meet you guys. And hopefully we can all go to a match together and have a great time. And the food is on me, Frank. I am shouting all you guys, lunch, dinner, whatever it is, I'm shouting you guys. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of this particular record. Hopefully all you guys have enjoyed all the little things that Frank has said. Obviously, all the serious part about our club and his opinions, but the later on the Man United and the photos and all of that interesting information that he's provided. I hope you guys enjoyed that heaps. Frank, before we go, obviously everyone knows you, but I'm still going to have all your information and the socials in the description. But just some last messages before we go, Frank, from you.
Yeah, I mean, my message to every Chelsea fan at the moment is be patient. I do see, I mean, it's become a bit toxic, Twitter lately, and I keep on seeing so many negative messages, tweets about our form at the moment and Frank Lampard. But let's stay together. Let's be positive. I mean, I remember being similarly down about the 2012 season where it looked like we were going nowhere. We ended up winning the Champions League and the FA Cup that season. So look, it's a long way to go. Anything can happen. Let's be positive. Let's get behind Frank Lampard and the team. I hate this criticising the players, criticising the manager. Let's stick together and be positive. That's my message.
True. Very, very true. Amir, some last thoughts from you before we wrap things up?
Yeah, no, I think Frank beautifully summed it up there. I think let's be positive, let's be together, let's unite, because it's Frank Lampard at the helm, right? I mean, I know the results aren't exactly going our way, but if there's anyone who can turn it around, it's Frank Lampard, who spent, probably better part of a decade at Chelsea. So I think that, so probably get behind him. We know what he's capable of. We've seen it last season. Hopefully he can turn it around. And I think we can't judge him accurately because of the pandemic and because it's such a weird season, True. Right? Nothing's for certain. So I think that it's been a bit unfair on him, but I think that's it. And about the episode, it's a great episode, guys. And I really hope everyone, if you've reached this stage, you've probably watched it, but you can go watch it again. It was a great chat.
Nice. Guys, that wraps it all up. Thank you heaps. Please smash that like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content, and hope to bring more of guests of this caliber down the track. So until next time, see ya.